Hey guys, today it is Sunday, March 29th, 2020, and since it is Sunday, it is once again time for us to round up. So, welcome to yet another episode of Rockzilla's weekly Roundup podcast. I'm Rockzilla, as you guys know, I'm sure by now. So, anyways, basically, for the record, before I move on or get going, just so you know, today's video will, for the most part, be a black screen today. Sorry for the inconvenience. I know the past couple of weeks I've had visuals, but this week we're going back to basic black screens, or to a basic black screen podcast format again. So, anyways, I want to talk about the channel just right off the top because it is significant and I do feel that I should discuss it. So I have been excruciatingly MIA as of late. I've only been doing these weekly roundup videos as of late. I mean, I know about a week or so ago, not this past week, but the week before, I did that video about the Calgary Stampeders teasing a new jersey. Well, that's going to be coming for the 2020 season, and I actually have more to discuss on that shortly. But anyways, what's been going on with me behind the scenes is that I've been working full-time. Where I work is a form of retail, and it's been exceptionally busy as of late. So, unfortunately, when I've wanted to do videos, I come home and I'm just absolutely exhausted. I'm pooped. And when I'm coming home, lately, there's been other stuff I've been trying to do. So, I just have not had time at all lately, and it sucks. I want to do videos really bad right now, but you know, while other people are able to sit down and film all the videos they want because they're either laid off or their school's not back in session because of this coronavirus pandemic, well, COVID-19 to be specific, well, I'm busy working like crazy, but now what's happening is my work is actually starting to run out of staff. So that means that the people that they have left, which I'm one of those people, we're getting all the hours because there is nobody else to literally give hours to. So it's been crazy. I mean, even yesterday when I was at work, one of my managers, she was supposed to be off yesterday and off for 5 days. Well, my store manager where I work actually had to call the assistant manager in because there was no other staff available. And it was crazy. So, you know, this whole situation sucks. And guys, I want to sit down and film videos. Truth is, there's a collaboration that I've been wanting to do with a couple of you. And you guys know who you are. We actually did do a collaboration together about a month or so, or a couple of months ago. And I've wanted to do the follow-up collaboration video here on my channel. But I am just so behind on so many things. I've got so many things going on in my personal life right now involving work. I just can't. You know, I'm trying the best I can, guys. I really am. But right now, you know, I just don't have time for much. And it really sucks to say it, but it's the truth. And, you know, the thing is I really feel bad. I mean, and I know there will be some of you saying, hey, don't worry about it. And guys, I appreciate all the support. I really do. But the thing is that right now has been a little bit of a trying time. And it's been hard on everybody. Let's just be straight to the point and cut the crap. But yeah, I mean, this whole situation has not been good. In terms of the pandemic, but my work situation has gone from getting close to full-time hours consistently now to being full-time, where they're basically one or two people going on leave or getting injured or going on sick time or whatever, vacation away from either needing to give their remaining people overtime to keep the store open, like they did with one of our managers yesterday where I worked, or B, it might even get to a point where our stores will either have to A, cut the hours back even more, or B, close the doors. And then I'll be sitting on EI, sitting at home collecting EI. I mean, if I was at home laid off from work, yeah, I could stay at home and film all the videos in the world that I want to film. But, you know, those paychecks are important. Very important. Very important. And, you know, I must say, it's been an odd week in one way too, I'll be honest. I've been working like crazy. The days have been exhausting because our work's been so damn busy. But, you know what? I really haven't been feeling, it's the weirdest feeling. It hasn't even fazed me. It doesn't even feel stressful because maybe it's because I'm just so damn thankful that while so many people are off and can't work because of this goddamn pandemic from hell, I'm still working. And a lot of people don't have that fortune. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But also knowing that, you know, because of me, our stores can stay open. I mean, I got to confess, I mean, I feel good knowing that I'm able to help our stores stay open and to help other people be able to go to work and also collect a paycheck too. Because I know that if one or two more coworkers go down and either go on leave because of health concerns regarding this pandemic or coming into contact with someone who has been exposed or has come down with COVID-19, or if people get injured, we're screwed. So, you know, this has been a really interesting time, and, you know, hopefully this pandemic will start to die down, but I don't think it's going away anytime soon. But I do know one thing, as the days get longer and the weather starts to improve wherever you are, I do think that's going to be a crucial aid in helping curb this stupid pandemic. And hopefully, not only will people stop dying from it, hopefully we will all be able to go back to normal life again. That would be amazing. And fingers crossed on that. So basically, I'm trying to do what I can. I've actually got a major video project that I've put to a grinding halt because of my ultra busy schedule. Plus the fact that, you know, like everybody else at this time of year, I still got to do my taxes. So that's another very important thing that's got to get done. So a lot of video stuff that I want to do, I have to put off right now. I mean, with these Roundup videos, if you're asking yourselves, oh, but you do your weekly Roundups every Sunday, that's because I can just put my phone down and talk about whatever the hell I want. It's a lot easier. With what I'm working on right now and trying to get done, it's a full-blown thing where, you know, I have to record specific things. It's not just whatever I want. And it's also not a podcast-style video like this one either. It's very, very specific. So, anyways, I'm going to do the best I can, as always. But, you know, like usual, I probably won't get around to much of anything. And if things keep going the way they're going, I might just decide to scrap all these past video projects that I've been trying to eventually get to. I might just scrap them and just say enough and hit the reset button. I might have to do it because I just can't keep up. I don't have the time. I literally don't have the time. It sucks, but it is what it is. And you know what? my channel is more than small enough that a reset probably would not be a very big deal for anybody. And hey, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing if I think about it. Because if you're somebody like, say you've got over 100,000 subscribers, and you're expected to do all these videos to a certain level, and you can't because you don't have time, or something's come up in life. You know, it's a lot harder for somebody like that to do a reset, especially when they're trying to keep all their subscribers and are probably trying to keep things going at a certain level so that they can actually monetize their channel and make a revenue off it and potentially keep it as a livelihood. So if you've got thousands of subscribers, you know, if you're in a situation like I've been in for past 2 or 3 years, well, you would have a lot of trouble. But when you've got a smaller channel like mine, you know, I don't want to sound in poor taste, guys, but what I'm saying is that, you know, if I ever had to do a reset, most of you guys that are subscribed to me, I talk to you regularly. So we're all on the same page. And you know what? If I did a reset, I don't think it would really be that big of a deal. It might actually be a really good thing. But I'm going to do my best to do what I can to avoid that, for the record, just so you know. So in terms of jersey and uniform news, it turns out there's now actually 7 NFL teams that are planning on making changes of some sort. There will be some teams such as the Indianapolis Colts who will make some minor changes. And there will be teams like, say, the Rams and even the Chargers who are planning on doing more significant changes. Truth is, speaking of the Chargers, I really love the updated logo that they've unveiled. It's much better than the old one. I really like it. And I've actually never been a lover of their current uniforms. They're a little bit, I don't like how ultra outlined they are. They're really kind of busy and clunky, and that modern agency font, it just doesn't, it's never looked good to me. So I'm not going to miss it. But I find it kind of funny that now, when they're in Los Angeles, when they're now in the city that they left, that the franchise left in the early 60s because nobody cared about them then, now that they're trying to get fans in Los Angeles, now they're switching back to powder blue. How ironic. You know, of course, it's when they actually need to please fans and bring fans into their doors and put bums in their seats that they're going to try to do all the right things. Well, why didn't you do that in the first place, Los Angeles Chargers? I still want to call them San Diego because they shouldn't have left. Sorry for the rant, but, you know, now that they're, you know, the other guys in the Rams stadium that they're moving into whenever the NFL can get back to running again, which hopefully they'll be starting up as usual in September. But the Chargers will always be second fiddle to the Rams unless they have some type of 1980s Edmonton Oilers type dynasty or a New England Patriots type dynasty, then that might change. But odds are that's not going to happen. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of ironic to me that now that they have to please fans in order to just survive, because they're the other guys in Los Angeles sharing the Rams' new stadium, well, now they're trying to do everything right. It's kind of ironic, because supposedly the fans at San Diego wanted powder blue for years. Then they finally got the powder blue third jersey. And then at one point they even got the powder blue throwback, which was a great uniform. But now that they're in Los Angeles and, you know, now they're the little guys in Los Angeles where the Rams are the main team there, now they're trying to do everything right. I just... I mean, I'm glad they're going back to powder blue. I think that's terrific. But, you know, I think what they should have done is they should have tried to make it work in San Diego rather than move the Chargers out. But, you know, I know I've talked about it in the past. I just find it kind of ironic that now they're doing all the right things with their uniforms and going back to powder blue, which they did this past season, eh? But they're doing all the right things now that they kind of have to just to survive. Now it's because it's convenient for them, basically saying we only care because because we're worried about losing our fans. Sorry, I used to be a Chargers fan until they decided to basically screw San Diego over and demand the taxpayers cough up a whole bunch of money, which they voted no against. And, I just feel the way that the owners of the Chargers moved them to Los Angeles, in my opinion, I don't like it. I have never agreed with it. And it sucks. But I will be happy to see them change their uniforms. Hopefully they're a big upgrade over what they've been wearing since around, I believe, the past 15 or so years. Anyway. So this is going to be the biggest off-season for NFL uniform changes that I've ever seen as an NFL or as a football fan in general. Now, speaking of football, I want to jump to my own home and native land up here in Canada. So, the Calgary Stampeders, I do have an update for anybody curious, and this is actually coming from Randy Ambrosie, the commissioner of the Canadian Football League. So, what has happened is that Randy Ambrosie has supposedly said that what the Stampeders are actually going to be doing is they will be unveiling new home and away uniforms in 2020. So that's what that teaser jersey on their Twitter has been, a new home jersey. So what's going to happen supposedly is the Stamps are going to be the one CFL team that gets new uniforms in 2020. So last year there was Montreal that switched to navy blue and got their new major uniform and logo redesign. The entire branding of the Alouettes was completely revamped last year. Now this year, the Calgary Stampeders will be the ones that get new uniforms. And then supposedly in 2021, the rest of the Canadian Football League's 7 franchises, hopefully soon to be 8 more franchises if they can get things figured out in Halifax or in the Maritimes, which would be great. But yeah, the rest of the CFL, they're all getting new uniforms in 2021. So that's something to look forward to. And I, like a lot of people, agree that the Stampeders need to start going away from having such black, heavy uniforms. I have seen too many beautiful photos of the Stampeders back in the 70s through to the 1980s where they were basically red and silver, and they looked so much better. Now, even their 90s uniforms, the simple red and white ones, back when I believe Doug Flutie was a Stampeder, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but even those uniforms from the from the mid to late 1990s were not that bad. Around 1994. I've always felt that those were okay, but I look at some of the older photos. Actually, maybe was it Doug Flutie that was their quarterback in the 90s? Okay, now I'm really having a brain fart and I'm confusing myself. I can't I'll be honest. Thinking about it now, I might be incorrect. I think I'm probably wrong on that. I can't remember exactly. Maybe it was the 80s that Doug Flutie played for the Stamps. If somebody knows, please tell me. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, looking at some of these old photos of the Stampeders back when they were red and silver, the uniforms are so much prettier. And, the red blacks are red and black, or black and red. And I also don't like what the red blacks have done either. Their first home uniform as a franchise when they first joined the CFL 6 years ago, that for a modern uniform, I actually thought was decent. I liked that the numbers were red with white trim. The away uniform at the time I didn't care for. But all they needed to do was make it a perfect flip of the home uniform, or the home jersey, with maybe black on the arms, and that's it. That, to me, would have been just fine. But yeah, I mean, the Red Blacks, in my opinion, have been an identity cluster bomb since they got away from their first home uniform in franchise history. And so far, in my opinion, that's the only good uniform or decent uniform they've ever had. And that, it sucks to say that, but that's how I feel. And the Red Blacks, even though I do not care for their name, I think their name sounds like an Australian rugby team, personally. They sound like a rugby team name, not a football name. You know, they've got a horrible name, in my opinion, but their logo is awesome. I love their saw blade logo. It's a wonderful homage to the original Ottawa Rough Riders while being its own thing. It's simple and it's quite nice. I've always liked their logo. It is a great logo, in my opinion. But you know, and now that they've won a Grey Cup as the Red Blacks, of course they're not going to change their name. But I still think that they should have just been the Ottawa Renegades 2.0. It was a good name. Who cares about translating it in French? Who cares? Sorry, I know not everybody's going to like that, but how difficult is it to switch between Renegades and why do you need to be Red Blacks in English and Rouge et Noirs in French? I mean, it's one name. What's the big deal? Like even the Ottawa Senators. I mean, yeah, in French I do think they do a little bit of French televising and stuff too, I'm sure. You know, they don't change their name because of the other language, French. They don't change their name based on language. They're still the Ottawa Senators. Now, I know that in French they'd be called the Sénateurs d'Ottawa, Senators of Ottawa. That's the translation. But they're not changing their name. You know what I'm saying? They're still the Senators. I mean, I don't know why they had to do that and name their team the Red Blacks. Sorry for going on a tangent here, but I'm trying to make sure that these weekly roundups are somewhat give you some type of something to listen to. But I've never been able to understand that. I mean, I tip my hat to Ottawa, to the Red Blacks, for respecting the English-speaking citizens in Ottawa and the Francophone citizens. It's great that they care about both, and I think they should. Everybody should in Ottawa. Where if you've got two languages, both your country's national languages, very heavily, almost equally to spoken in that area, then yeah. And if you go to Quebec, the emphasis should be on the French name. I agree with that, because Quebec speaks French, just like British Columbia speaks English, for the most part. You see what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I hope I don't ruffle any feathers with what I'm saying, but you know, I still think why they were the Ottawa Renegades before until that franchise fell apart. But the reason they fell apart for the most part, as far as I remember, is they had stadium issues. The old Frank Clair Stadium had structural issues and they had financial problems. But now they've got a good ownership, as far as I can tell, and they've got basically a brand new stadium. I mean, I'm sorry. I just think that they should have never changed the name. And I thought Renegades was a great name, personally. And their logo, the Red Blacks logo, is awesome. But speaking of the Red Blacks, I really want to see them do a Rough Riders throwback at some point. It would be so much nicer than the uniforms they have now. And sorry, that's a helicopter going over my house, if you hear it, which I'm sure you can. But yeah, so hearing that the Stamps are getting new home and away uniforms in 2020, if there is a CFL season this year even, hopefully there is, fingers crossed. But knowing that they're going to get new uniforms this year, I'm excited because hopefully they're going to start to go back towards what they had before the 1990s came in, and that's red and silver. That is a great color scheme and very underused from what I can tell in professional football. And it would be nice to see a team just own red and silver. And the Calgary Stampeders are prime candidates for a major upgrade to their uniforms as far as I'm concerned. Now, we're at about 25 minutes, so there was something else but what I'll do is I'll actually try and drag that into next week. And the reason I want to do that is so that there's more stuff that I can talk about and keep these weekly roundups going for as long as I can. So this way I can at least guarantee you guys a video every week. So guys, I hope what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm going to get this uploaded so that it's done. And hopefully I will find some time this week to do something else, because as I said earlier, I do have a major video project that is what I'm currently working on. Well, trying to, but I haven't had time to get around to it, sadly. So I apologize for that. Hopefully more time will be available for me to get this stuff going, but I can't guarantee it. But anyways, guys, I'm going to call it a wrap on this video for the week. I hope you have enjoyed this week's episode of the Weekly Roundup podcast. Let me know what you think about anything and everything that I've discussed. And yeah, I mean, I hope that this has been worth your time. I'm sure that a lot of you are still off of work or school because of this COVID-19 pandemic. So I hope that this was worth your time. Also, remember, guys, stay safe out there. Wash your hands constantly. And for the love of God, stay away from anybody if you think they've got COVID-19. I would hate to see more people come down with this. It's already killed far too many people, and it has made far too many people sick. So hopefully we can flatten the curve and end this pandemic for once and for all. Fingers crossed there. All right, you guys, all of you stay safe. And as I always say at the end of every video, excuse me, as I say at the end of every video, take care. And of course, as always, you guys, bye for now.